Hey guys, welcome to Andertons TV. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. And today, my special guest is Mike Dawes, acoustic virtuoso, guitar virtuoso even. Kind of probably better known for playing that style, that more percussive style of acoustic guitar.
Yeah, man.
And I thought, Mike was around and we thought we'd have a chat today. I don't know how familiar you guys will be with Mike, but hopefully by the end of this video you'll be more familiar and interested in what he's doing. But, so tell us.
Awesome, man.
I know we've known each other a little bit for a while now.
Yeah, that's funny.
Sort of
it's like Captain Meets, but I've known you for many years, actually, man.
So tell people a little bit about how you, how you got into the guitar, and perhaps we'll talk over a little while about how you've developed this sort of technique that you've become known for.
Yeah, well, I actually grew up around this area. We're in Guildford right now, Andertons HQ, and I grew up around here, and I actually bought a lot of gear back in the day from you guys before YouTube was even a thing. Back in the dark times.
Did anything exist?
Exactly. Who knows? Who even knows, man? But I was always into playing electric guitar, so playing your rock and roll stuff, on a Les Paul, and I think I bought a Jackson Kelly from you guys.
Of course you did.
Years ago.
Absolutely.
The only place, man.
The only one we ever sold.
Probably, yes, that was me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, man. But over the years, I sort of had this split personality where I was learning sort of Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden. I mean, look at me, I look like a metal dude or whatever, right, from the 80s. But at home, I was being introduced to fingerstyle guitar, which is essentially steel string acoustic guitar played with your fingers. You might be able to see I have sort of fingernails on one hand, which is kind of very functional for guitar playing, but really socially awkward when you're trying to pay for something at a bar or something, shake someone's hand. So at home, I'd be learning all these.
Inspired by what? Because, as you say, you've been inspired to learn the guitar by some very conventional, high-profile guitar players. Slash, Marty Friedman. I don't know why you got the Kelly, whether he was a big influence or whatever.
Actually not, but I had a few Megadeth albums back in the day.
That kind of vibe. But it's quite. I mean, I certainly, I definitely. You're not normally, as a young person, exposed to this kind of music unless you've got a parent with
what sort of happened was, so the basic fingerstyle stuff, so sort of finger picking, playing your little Celtic ballads and things like that, I was learning at home because my godfather was designed these tab books for a guitar player called Pierre Van Susen, who's sort of one of the kings of like fingerstyle guitar. He's the master of dadgad tuning, which is what I'm in right now, actually, D-A-D, G-A-D. But then I guess over time, these styles combined. So I had like the metal thing and then the fingerstyle thing, they combined, and I discovered a player who actually used to live and work in the Guildford area, Eric Roche, at the ACM, the late great Eric Roche.
Rest in peace, yeah.
Exactly, man. So I was kind of drawn into the idea of using more of the guitar's body. You can get the sides of the guitar for percussion and things. And
was Eric? Did you study under Eric?
I didn't, but a lot of my friends did. Newton Faulkner, obviously, who was actually one of Eric Roche's students. And man, I guess when YouTube did happen, there was a Live at the Electric Theatre DVD that came out of Eric's on there, and I was blown away by his style. That little extract I just played is from a song of mine called Boogie Shred, which someone in Guildford named at a pub. They just yelled it out, and that's what the name of the song is. And that was super inspired by Eric's playing from seeing that on YouTube. So I guess the Eric thing, the fingerstyle thing, and the metal thing all came together, and that's kind of what I've been doing ever since.
But even that though, how did you? Because Eric, I met a few times. He taught at ACM for a while, and sadly, passed away way too young. But really I want to say completely pre-YouTube. If it's not complete, it was certainly early YouTube. So it wasn't like. Yeah, I think if he'd have been alive today, he'd have been the guy that had the 10 million hits on YouTube for doing some crazy.
Yeah. No, Eric was, I guess, the hipster of the guitar scene. He was doing it before it was cool.
But
for sure.
I still don't know how. Did you just see him at a gig by accident?
No, not at all. I mean, I didn't hear his music until after he passed away, and it was someone uploading his stuff onto YouTube. That is how I discovered him. My friend just said, "Hey, check this guy out. He used to live in Guildford." No way, man. I think because it was he was from here, it sort of seemed more real and more achievable, you know. So I started playing this stuff. I actually started playing on my lap like this, and I'd hit all the open mic nights playing like Celine Dion covers. Just like this, sort of arpeggiating and tapping like this. Exactly. Jack, hold on. We can do it. So I sort of did this at open mic nights around Guildford for like a year, man. Just doing this, and everyone was saying, "Oh man, you sound like Eric Roche. That's sick, you know." But I couldn't afford an acoustic guitar, so I did this on a Les Paul.
Right.
Yeah, and sold little homemade demo CDs for like a year for £1. Eventually saved enough money to buy a Taylor, bought a Taylor, and went upright, and the rest is history, really. So it's really been a kind of from the ground up kind of grind, and ever since 2013, I've been touring 11 months of the year all over the world, every continent, you know, in all kinds of capacities, just playing my guitar music. And I just yesterday finished a headline UK tour, which was a lot of fun, and off to Europe, off to Luxembourg tomorrow. So the Titans of Luxembourg. Never been. Looking forward to it.
No, I've never been there. I don't know. Is it famous for? It's famous for being small and having some presumably head of EU off. No, it's Brussels, isn't it?
I have no idea, but I'll go there and I'll let you know.
Tell me. Yeah, send me a postcard.
I'll let you know, man. Looking forward to it. Rock Hall in Luxembourg. Yeah.
But so presumably, we were talking a little bit over lunch about how you don't do a lot on YouTube.
Yet I'm known for doing a lot on YouTube.
I was about to say, but isn't that kind of how everybody knows who you are?
Yeah, it's bizarre. So, I mean, back in 2013 or 2012, I released my first ever video, which was a song called Somebody That I Used to Know. You might know it as, if you're from England, bar, bar, black sheep, have you any wool. Same melody, right? But I did it on guitar, so I would layer the bass, the guitar chords, you know, like this, and then add the drums on the top like this, so you get all the different parts going, and then the melody on top of that as well, coming in. Remember that song? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that video's had like 1 billion views.
Yeah, yeah, and that was my first video, and it kind of took off, and then all of a sudden all these emails came through like, "Hey Mike, we want to book you to come and play in Lebanon, in China, in Lapland, wherever." But I only had that one song.
Lebanon is not in China, it's just the way Mike said it.
Yes, exactly, yes.
We do know that.
Lebanon, Missouri, yeah. So I sort of wanted to say yes to all these offers, but I didn't have any other songs, because that was just my first song, really, as a soloist at that point in my life. So what I did was sort of say, yes, I'll come to these places and tour, but I'm going to finish my album first. So I gave myself a deadline of 1 year. And in that year, not only was I writing and recording my first album, but I taught myself how to kind of handle bookings and visas and flights and stuff. So I kind of taught myself through force by having a deadline of how to like self-manage and be your own boss and be an independent musician at the time, 2012, 2013, which is when the kind of labels were sort of coming down and the independent artists were coming up. So it was sort of through that viral video that I had to force myself to teach myself how to do it. And that's what I've been doing ever since. The album came out on, I think, April the 9th, 2013, and then April the 13th, 2013 was the first gig in Germany, and I've basically been on tour ever since. And I'll put out maybe 2 or 3 videos a year. I just released my second record, Era, and so yeah, a lot of people will discover me on YouTube through a relatively small collection of videos, but then I guess I'm known in the scene to just be touring a lot, because that's become my life. I live in hotels and at airports, basically just traveling around.
The style that you've developed obviously requires, it's very intricate, you know, lots and lots of hammer-on style techniques to try, you know, to ring the notes out. So I'm guessing the guitar that you need to have can't be like a enormous sounding, you know, D28 kind of.
You know what, it can for sure.
Can it?
Yeah, any off-the-shelf acoustic guitar you can play this. I mean, having a low action helps, because if you're doing a lot of hammer-ons and things like that, you know. You've got to have some kind of.
But these are because they're not phosphor strings, are they? Are they a heavy electric set, or is that?
This is D'Addario nickel bronze.
nickel bronze.
Yep, nickel bronze. It's a new thing they've come out with, and it's basically a set of lights. But,
right. Okay.
But so 12 to whatever. But I have slightly thicker strings on these outside strings, the E, the B, and the E. Standard tuning would be like this because I'm tuned down a tone on those strings. So that's a 13, a 17, a 24, 32, 42, and 56.
Okay. So
normal strings, normal guitar.
Regular normal guitar.
Anything that I'm doing, you can do on any off-the-shelf guitar. But this particular guitar that I have is engineered to give you that extra clarity and that extra oomph.
Now, just for worried parents watching this video, Mike has a brand of guitar which is a perfectly common surname in Germany.
Normal. Totally legit.
Slightly more awkward to say in the UK and the US. So anyway, I will leave you to go and find out. It's really easy to find out what brand of guitar Mike Dawes plays. You can just type that into Google, it'll come up. We're not going to say it because. So, but it's a cool guitar.
It's pronounced Kunz.
Well, I know how it's pronounced, but it's completely not cool to say that on camera, you know, when you've got 10-year-old people watching this.
Okay,
But anyway.
Copy that.
So anyway.
Andreas makes great guitars. And this is my signature one.
But I was going to say, now, I had a little strum on this before, and I commented just how quiet I thought it was acoustically.
Acoustically, yeah. Relatively. I mean, I'm a very quiet player as well,
But tell us a little bit structurally about the guitar and what you asked Andreas to do to make this, you know, fit for your style.
Sure thing. Well, this is my signature guitar by Andreas that you can Google online, and it's available at all sort of, I guess, on online retailers and things like this. But one of the things we did is we reinforced the top a little bit here because I do a lot of percussion. And in order to do that all over the world live, where sometimes you just really want to wail on the guitar or you get caught up in a moment live where you're just really getting into it, we put a little bit more reinforcement. So it's a little, I guess the top vibrates a little less, which means you get a quieter acoustic tone. This guitar I've had made to sort of be, it's been designed to sound absolutely massive when you're plugged in. And we actually have 4 different pickups in this guitar.
Right, so it's very much aimed at as an amplified sort of device. I mean, it sounds great sitting in here. Admittedly, I am hearing some foldback of what you're hearing.
It's a huge sounding guitar.
So we're getting some big sounds. But I did notice, I mean, obviously, if you're not familiar with acoustic manufacturing, you know, that there is this fine line that the manufacturer is trying to achieve between allowing this piece of wood here, the top, to resonate as much as possible, but making it structurally stable enough, strong enough to bear. I vaguely remember seeing somewhere that the weight of a set of strings tuned to pitch is the equivalent of hanging 11 pounds worth of weight off of the bridge. So it's important. And of course, if you brace it too hard, like I know if you try some of those early acoustic guitars from the sort of 1920s with the lateral bracing, so it literally just goes, it's before X bracing, just goes right from top to bottom. You can really hear the rigidity of the top. It just doesn't have that big natural sound that an X brace guitar
Well, you know what?
has.
Yeah, for live performance in halls and in theatres, I'm treating this like an electric guitar almost. You know, it's designed to be very controlled live. If you have a big bodied, very, very loose-topped guitar that projects a lot acoustically, sometimes it's quite hard to control a lot of that live because you can run into feedback issues, a lot of boominess, you know. So this is almost like tight. I mean, I had to design quite thin as well. It's got quite a thin body relatively in the neck. I don't know if you can see or you felt. It's almost like an electric guitar neck. And even the string spacing, I mean, this is like 44 mil, we've got 55 mil. It's more in line with an off-the-shelf sort of semi, I suppose, rather than traditional fingerstyle guitar spacing, which is a little bit wider.
It's super comfy to play.
It's so
the action's crazy low.
It's freaking awesome, but it's still achievable to get these harmonics.
You've got you've gone for a timber construction that's almost classical, you know, almost flamenco in the sort of rosewood,
Indian
cedar
rosewood,
kind of combination.
It's spruce actually.
Is it spruce?
Yeah, but it's got a nice bear claw on it. It's 38-year-old Sitka spruce.
I thought that was cedar.
38-year-old Sitka spruce. We got Indian rosewood. We got the
take that back, then.
the quilted maple. Yeah, it's great, man. And this little thing I get asked a lot about.
Is that an aftermarket thing, or is that part of the?
This is something which is available on my signature model as an add-on.
Right.
And this is something that Actually, another guitar maker, Nick
Is
Benjamin.
it your washboard for when you're
It's
doing
basically,
your sort of,
it's my little...
when I'm cleaning windows.
It's great, man. You can,
That's a great idea. I'm going to patent that.
it's just a little texture you
great.
can add into things,
And what when you're playing that kind of percussive technique, are there kind of hot spots on the guitar that give a certain
Yeah,
percussive
you learn
sound?
all of that, and each guitar is a little different in that respect. But I mean, typically, if you look at the percussion side of things, you have two kind of kick drums. I guess a lot of the people watching might be drummers, or they might at least know how a drum kit functions. In a Western kind of beat, you say you've got your kick drum on your 1 and the 3. And that's a good kick drum.
Yeah.
This is a good kick drum. That's pretty much all I'll use on the guitar. Down up here rather is a lot bigger sounding because I've got a separate pickup under here.
A lot bassier that
Exactly,
slap,
man.
isn't it?
That's that pickup coming through.
Yeah.
Snare drums, I mean, the sides, we can even get a nice big one there, so get a nice beat doing that. Some hi-hats. You can start messing around. Get your own little drum beats, and when you can start with something simple, I suppose, you can build it up. Mess with ideas. Shuffle. And then you can add in notes. And you're a whole band, man. It's so fun, especially because it feels like a modern electric guitar, which appeals to me in my teenage Guns N' Roses upbringing. But you can beat the crap out of it, man, and play some really cool stuff.
Do you? I'm talking about the amount of sort of wear and tear this gets. Do you go through guitars, or
no?
Is that,
actually, surprisingly not. Yeah, because I actually hit really lightly. It's important in this style as well, and I've actually had this conversation with a lot of other modern fingerstyle players. They're like, "Oh, I keep hitting the guitar so hard it goes out of tune." It's like, well, don't hit it that hard then. I mean, you can see how hard I'm hitting it there. Not at all, It's really quite simple. And most of the percussion that I'll do in an arrangement will be mostly just kicks and snares, Just for atmosphere,
What's one of your gigs like? Is it very quiet and people very appreciative of the music, or is
I'd like to think so.
I get that. It's like, is it almost like nice to just sort of zen out and just
man. It's so typically my shows will be a sit-down audience in a small theatre or something like that, or bigger if I'm opening for a larger act or something, and it's pin drop silence and then rowdy applause. But I have this thing where I the rock thing in me wants the audience to go crazy, so I'll always get them clapping along, or get them singing along, or get them participating in some way. So every song has a
throw
thing.
an Ed Sheeran number in there.
Just to catch Dude, I'll throw in a bit of smoke. I'll throw in a bit of smoke on the water or something. But someone once told me, a friend of mine, that in an instrumental music show, it's good to try and appeal to the non-guitarists, people who have been brought along by their guitarist friends. It's not a nerdy guitar show; it's an entertaining show, and it's funny. There'll be. I like the idea of every song having a thing. Every song has a thing. So this will be the crazy, fast, grab your attention thing. This will be the funny song. This will be the cover that This will be the song that'll make you cry because it's so powerful. This will be the song where I start playing with pedals. Just keep it varied. And every show's different. I even have one song where I do a whole light show with the lighting guy, and we have a whole thing where the audience will get their phone lights out, and it's an interactive show. It's I've been doing this for 5 years now all over the world, and so far. People seem to dig it, so it's a lot of fun. It's not sort of sit down and it's more stand up, rock out, have fun, win machine.
Which is cool, and I'm loving your not only obviously have you taken a different kind of approach. No, what's the right word? A different approach to playing the acoustic guitar. It's not it's not just all traditional fingerstyle picking. You're really making the most of effects as well.
Yeah, with my glory board here.
Yeah, and we'll have a look at. I don't know if you're familiar with this very, very lesser known pedalboard builder from Barnsley called shiteboards.com. But that's Mike is exclusively endorsed by them.
I'm the only endorser.
So this is
really funny?
real Barnsley cardboard, I
yeah,
think,
that's,
isn't it?
it's plywood.
Real Barnsley plywood.
Painted black.
That's an optional extra.
It's great, man. And got the pink gaffer tape on there. You know, the pink output cables, because I played in China, and in China, you know, not always, the sound engineer doesn't always speak English, so it's good to just have it as simple as possible, like pink equals out, good,
I see.
Everything's functional, man, for sure.
Wow.
Now, what's really interesting is these boards, as much as it might be, oh, look, his boards look so shit, because they do. And whenever I do like gear rig rundown videos before a show, you know, they'll be like, Mike, great, yeah, can you make it look less shit before we film? But everything is functional. So these boards, these two boards I've got, come apart and they stack on top of each other in my suitcase. You know, like I said, I tour all the time. I have a suitcase and a guitar, and that's it. So I don't need another case for my pedal board, and a heavy case that's going to charge you 50 quid every time you take a flight. You know, everything's practical. And
you watch the little Back Pedal Show guys, and their darling pedalboard maker is again, I think he's German, or if he's not German, he's got a big German name, Oskar Schmidt.
Nice.
And people are spending like $1,500
absolutely
just on the board,
dude.
With no pedals on it. It's just like, but anyway,
plywood. It's light and it's sturdy. Right, and by the way, this has been my setup for about 3 years now, and I don't just play solo shows. I also play with Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues, and we do, you know, big shows all over the place. And I've been on the bill doing some pretty huge shows, and everyone else has these huge. You know, I just opened for ELO basically. You know, in this sort of theatre in the Caribbean Sea, which is, and they all had this glory gear and everything, and I rock up with my plywood boards and everything, and it was just a killer show, man. Everything's functional, everything works. You don't need a super expensive pedal board if you're always flying. It's impractical.
So,
shall I walk you through it?
Yeah, let's walk us through it and give us an idea of what each of the individual pedals.
Well, we start with the guitar because the guitar, as I said, has 4 pickups, right? Yeah. So you don't need 4 pickups to play this style, but what I have helps. So we have a DiMarzio Black Angel undersaddle, which is a really great pickup from DiMarzio, who you know is, you know, the metal shred pickups, you know, I mean,
Satriani and Steve
exactly.
Vai and all those
they have all the dudes, all the heavyweights, but I'm very lucky because Larry reached out to me a few years ago, and I'm their first sort of acoustic artist. So we've been working on some stuff together. So we got a DiMarzio piezo there, twinned with this pickup, which I co-designed with Larry DiMarzio and Nick Benjamin, who's another guitar maker from the UK. Yeah. And this is a passive magnetic pickup called the Black Angel Magnetic, with a phase switch built into it. So you can invert the phase of the pickup to give yourself the biggest sound. We also have a microphone inside, because without the microphone, you know, we don't get that much, but with, I mean, we can hear it. It makes a huge difference to the percussion. And then, like I mentioned, another little DiMarzio transducer. Oh, we do have one.
Where did that come from? I don't even know if Andertons is stocking these yet, but I guess perhaps we should. But there we are. If we do, I shall put a link in the description.
That's the one,
below.
man.
And you designed this?
Yep, co-designed it with Larry DiMarzio and Nick Benjamin, the Black Angel Magnetic. So
is that because in your, like, at night time you dress up as a superhero?
I do.
You are the Black Angel.
Don't. But yeah, this is the Black Angel pickup, and one of the cool things about it is the modeled by Lee Anderton is the phase switch. Which essentially inverts the phase of the pickup. So what that means is, for any audio nerds out there will understand, but if you have multiple pickups, you know, they can be out of phase with one another, and you can actually get a less fat sound or a degraded sound. So what this little switch does is it maximizes the potential of using this with any other pickup in your guitar. So if you have this twinned with any other pickup, it will sound as huge as it can possibly sound, depending on where the switch is.
Without getting too technical, if you are installing this into something where there is another pickup, is it just a question of kind of wiring it to the existing
super easy,
socket?
man. That's passive, so it doesn't even need another battery.
Yeah.
So it's super easy. So yeah, and you can wire it into a stereo socket and have it coming out of the same socket as another pickup. So you don't even need to drill another hole. It's super easy.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's amazing. Larry DiMarzio is just a king of tone, man. He really knows his stuff. So that's yeah, we went through a few prototypes, but that's the final version, and it's awesome. I've been using it for a few years now and taking it everywhere.
It sounds good in here, man.
It's sick, man.
And people traditionally, I think, magnetic pickups have kind of had a bad name, really, haven't they? Because people just go, oh, it sounds
a little
like an electric guitar.
But that's why we blend it with a piezo.
Yeah.
And that's how you get that nice warm sound. And also, we'll get to another reason I have the magnetic, because if you think of this as an electric guitar pickup, any effect that you would put on an electric guitar, if you route that through the signal from the magnetic pickup, you can get distortions and things. Now that is only getting a signal from the magnetic pickup. If that was on the piezo, it would sound horrible. but because it's on the magnetic.
The little run you played before there sounded just like the beginning to that Robin Hood theme tune that Clannad did, and it took me right back to my 80s childhood. You must know Robin the Hooded Man. You must know that.
Isn't he the Black Angel?
Well, he's the modern day Robin Hood.
I heard a rumor.
I was so hoping you were going to go, what, you mean this one? And you were going to play it, and I was going to relive a little.
It's okay, we'll do it in the edit. We'll do it in the edit.
It was.
No problem.
He was like, I'm sure he was like Sean Connery's son, wasn't he, Jason? Someone help me out here. Who's
Dig
as
the
old
hole,
as I
Lee.
am.
No one knows what you're talking about.
No one's as old as I am.
If you know what Lee's talking about, leave it in the comments so he can read the comments later and feel better about himself.
The Hooded One.
Amazing. Well, basically, these signals come out through this sexy DiMarzio cable that they made me, where it's taking the signal of the four pickups. There was a Y cable and a mono cable all tied together, right? So that goes into this mixer.
Yeah.
And it essentially EQs the pickups there.
Yeah.
And then we have different effects coming out from different pickups. Like I said, the distortion, which is actually an amp simulator pedal with the gain turned up, geek over, that's linked to this volume pedal. So when I play a chord, I can fade in the distortion, which is very expressive when you're playing an acoustic show solo, or if you want to do any of that geeky Eddie Van Halen stuff.
Does it? I mean, I know you've got a Joyo distortion, which is super affordable.
Yeah, really.
Does it kind of work with any distortion pedal, or do you find that you have to look for a certain voiced pedal?
That's why I got this one. And it's not the voicing; it's the fact that distortion pedals and overdrive pedals, you want an amp, you need a speaker, you need something to give it that. If you go straight into a PA from, say, an off-the-shelf distortion or overdrive pedal, it doesn't sound as sick. Now this emulates the speaker.
So you've got cabinet
It's an amp simulator, and they're so cheap because no one needs them because everyone has amps.
Yeah.
Right? Now the beauty of this portable setup that I have, relatively portable, you know, I go straight into the PA at my shows, so I don't need an acoustic amp or anything. Yeah. This emulates it, so it gives you that sick sound, and also it's blended with the dry sound of the piezo, so it's not just the distorted note, you get the clean sound as well. Yeah. Same with this, I've got an octave, you know, here.
I love octave pedals.
And it's
That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
It sounds like a cello or like a double bass. In fact,
it's sick.
It's huge.
It's a huge sound, but the cool thing about this pedal, because it's the, this might pop because the cable's popped out. There we go. The cool thing about this pedal, the OC3, which I believe you have
I love
here,
these. Yeah.
They're the only octave pedal that I've found that has a filter knob and a polyphonic mode. What that means is I've set this up through the Simple Boss Stomp Box. Great stuff. It has no sound on the top strings, only octave on the bottom string.
Clever.
So you can self-accompany.
Didn't even know you could do that on that pedal.
Yeah, exactly. So you can self-accompany, but the melody is completely untouched.
I love the way that the attack on the bass note slightly fades in, and it's almost got that bowed.
It's a beautiful, but again, the octave pedal is only getting a sound from the magnetic because you only want the string. So this is another reason why I love magnetic pickups in acoustic guitars, because you can play with the effects, man. You can play with the effects, and you have a lot of fun. This guy's fun. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
This is a wah-wah by Zevex.
It's magic.
This is like, it's like a theremin, it's like a sensor.
Yeah, it's like the proximity of your foot rather
Exactly.
than...
And the reason I like that for acoustic guitar, because you know, this might look like chaos, but there's actually a lot of thoughts gone into it, right? I like this for acoustic guitar because when you use any wah-wah, when you click it on,
it's max position.
It's at its max, man. So you get that high sound. And if you're on stage like me playing solo, you don't want the audience to be taken out of the moment by hearing, you know, it doing that. This, I can actually leave this on because it's set. I can set it to be at a pretty neutral position, and then when I want wah-wah, I just walk up to it, and it adds the wah. Again, blended with the dry sound, so it's not just super wet.
Yeah, I'm surprised that more manufacturers haven't addressed that issue. I mean, I know Rob Chapman had, I don't know if he's still got it now, but he had like a pressure pad. It was like a loop. Like a loop thing on a pressure pad with his wah-wah on top of it, so that the same kind of thing, as soon as he took his foot off, the actual pressure pad just bypassed the wire, and then he put his foot on, and the wire would work again.
Right.
And again, I've seen ones where the on-off pedal is just on the side of the, it's like a square base with a pedal. I think Morley did one with
Right.
it. And that, I agree. I mean, it's probably not so bad when you're about to rip into your guitar solo.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. Like for me, it was like these pedals are designed for dudes about to play the November Rain solo. You know what I mean? Like in a band.
Yeah.
And that tonal change isn't really that much of an issue. But when you're on stage by yourself playing acoustic guitar, it really is. So I use this actually for a cover of a song called Titanium by David Guetta, where it's like an electronic dance music song, but I use it as a filter, like a kind of, in electronic dance music, they do that sort of EQ sweeps. That's
I've never
what I
listened
use
to any
it for.
electronic dance
Well,
music.
that kind of...
So, I don't know what you mean.
Everyone watching will know what I mean, but they won't know about your weird Robin Hood obsession.
I'm too busy listening to Clanad's Robin Hood album. I've never listened to David Guetta.
Exactly. But that's by Zvex, and I've had that on my board since 2012, man. It's great. But then we go into the Strymon Timeline, which is the holy grail of delay pedals, in my opinion. I don't work with Strymon at all. I just love this thing so much. You guys have this?
Yeah.
Yeah? I presume it's pretty popular, because why wouldn't it be? The cool thing about the Timeline is it just has so many delay functions, that so many parameters that you can adjust. I made this setting, I actually made after watching a demo that Pete Thorne did of this pedal, and I kind of pretty much copied most of his settings on this. It's a nice shimmer. But the cool thing about the Timeline is if you hold the button down, it fades into itself.
Everyone's got their lighters out like this.
Got a kind of dub stuff, and I like the idea of, because my whole show is so organic, everything's coming from the fingers and everything has to be manipulated by my fingers. I love the idea of being able to play with the feet as well and actually improvise those swells. I was introduced to this by my buddy Petteri Sariola, who's one of my favourite musicians in the world, another fingerstyle guy who also plays Andreas Pilz's acoustic guitars. And do check his stuff out. There's a lot of cool Timeline stuff on his records as well.
Now, so we go from the Timeline, which is one of the most expensive programmable delay pedals that you can buy. It's absolutely fabulous, and all the super pro guys use it. But then you've gone to like a super affordable reverb pedal. So why didn't you decide to, Strymon it up on the reverb as well?
Two reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, the setting that I have on this reverb, the Hall of Fame, the original Hall of Fame, is the mod setting. And the parameters that I've found, to me, sound really good in a big theatre playing solo acoustic music, because you've got that little bit of chorus on it, that little shimmer that you get, and to me it just fattens up the guitar a little bit live, especially when you're using the delay and stuff before, which then goes through it, and it treats these other effects with a little bit of interesting character, even the distortion. Because chorus is fatness, really. Chorus is essentially mimicking your guitar sound like a 12-string guitar to a certain extent, and I'm all about that. So the other reason was, I mean, in all honesty, it's practical board space. I mean, it sounds great and it fits. The Strymon wouldn't fit there. I mean, I'm sure I would love the Strymon reverb. Their delay is incredible quality, but I've been using this TC Hall of Fame, and to me, honestly, it does the job, and it's been so reliable as well. So
I'm pretty sure if you did want the bigger Strymon, Shite boards do a pedal board pro thing, and it's like about this much bigger, and it's only literally about 10p more.
Yeah, you'd be amazed when you're flying with 23 kilos in your case on the nose every time how much difference that makes. But I mean, that's the thing. I like being sensible and practical, and as much as I have a lot of ego gear at home, and I have unlimited space and all of that. This is essentially a fly rig.
I honestly, man, I am super messing with you.
No, I know. And I just I'm translating the sarcasm to the literal YouTube.
Genuinely, the flip side of just going, even our biggest selling pedal board by an absolute country mile is the Pedal Train stuff.
A what mile?
Country mile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're a Scandinavian guitar manufacturer as well. Lovely guys.
Just out of Bedford. Yeah.
And I look at these boards and I just think, man, it's just like some bent metal.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so
you pay like £100 to put your pedals on them.
Back to the board, man. It's like I used to have a big old pedal board case, latches and all that, and I'd carry it around, and it was just a pain in the ass. I mean, at the end of the day, I tour for a living. I tour all year round because I love traveling, I love seeing my mates in other countries, and I love playing live. So I want to make my life as easy as possible. And how do I do that? I eliminate the chains in my life. A chain, for me, would be having more bags than I can carry. If I'm flying out to Luxembourg tomorrow for a hit-and-run show, do I want to have to walk around going back to and from the baggage claim, stacking stuff onto a trolley, or do I want to grab my guitar, my suitcase, and go to the gig?
For sure.
It's eliminating the chains, and honestly, it's not necessary. I've had this shite boards incorporated pedal board set up for so long, and it's been absolutely reliable. And again, it's so fun. In fact, this was on a DVD. We were like #2 Billboard live music DVD. PBS specials, all that stuff. And the camera pans to my shite board, quickly pans away to something a lot more sensible.
I think honestly, you and I after this, we'll trademark shiteboards.
I think we should before this
and
video
we'll
goes
sell
up.
these. I reckon if we can get like 25 quid a board, we'll make millions out of this. You can give up guitar and everything.
Yeah, screw it, it's fine.
So look, you've got a couple of other pedals on here. We should do a
absolutely.
little demo with the looper. I mean, obviously everyone kind of knows what the looper is. What's the spark in there for?
This boosts the magnetic pickup signal to go into the Bose mixer.
Right, so that's just on all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I just keep that on all the time. I don't have to do that, but I like that because the gain staging when I'm using my amp simulator, I want it to sound good and not have a lot of hiss in the background. And that's just a gain staging thing, a little accessory there.
And you've got, was that the only ball volume pedal?
It is, yeah. I've had this since I was,
man,
I don't even know when. When I first got an acoustic guitar, I bought this pedal and it's been super reliable.
Yeah.
I tried a few, you can get the mini volume pedals that take up less pedal board space. You'd think I'd be all about that, right? Less space, great. Your foot's still the same size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're still using the same amount of space when so you can't fill it with any other gear. But this has just been so reliable. It plays like butter. It's great. I love it. So that's the live sound board, really. And that comes out as a wet and a dry line to front of house.
Is this our DI box, or is this one that you'll typically use?
No, they're yours. So the house
so
provides the
DIs
that's on the
box,
rider, exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
I do actually have these DI boxes by Orchid Electronics. I don't know if you know them. I think they're based in like Cornwall. It's just like it's this dude makes these tiny, amazing quality DI boxes, and they're great.
Play a little on the loop for us. In fact,
on the looper,
this is a really good cut point because I need the bathroom. I'm sorry, apologies about this. I use that kind of like sound at the end there to try and get my 3-month-old baby to go to sleep.
It's nice. So what I was doing there is doing that whole swelling of the Strymon. So the delay was being fed in as a smear delay whilst just turning the volume knob of the looper. So the loop's all still there. Oh no, it's not, I deleted it. You know, so you can have a lot of fun, just be creative. And I like, the thing with pedals is, you know, you can always buy more pedals, but there's something beautiful about limiting yourself to 1 or 2 pedals or 3 pedals just to fiddle with, and then you can create all this kind of sonic expression, like the fading in of the distortion with the smear delay just then. So the smear delay comes on only when I play a note for a period of time, so it won't do percussion. The delay, it won't delay the percussion, but it'll delay the notes. And then the swelter. Swelling that and playing with it and messing around, and
really
so much fun, you know, being super experimental.
Well, hopefully you guys have learnt a little bit about going, because it's not often you see somebody making as much use of pedals and stuff with the acoustic guitar, which is very, very cool. But it does lead me nicely on to saying, what is happening in the world of Mike Dawes and an electric guitar? Because I gather that's another project.
It is, yeah. So I'm not really known to be an electric guitar player, but I do play guitar for Justin Hayward from the Moody Blues. If you don't know who the Moody Blues are, ask your mum and dad.
Nights in White Satin.
Nights in White Satin. Yeah, I get to play Nights in White Satin, man. I get to play the flute solo by the late great Ray Thomas on the guitar, which is super cool. And on the support act as well. Actually, we're doing a UK tour coming up and a European tour coming up. April, May, June. Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, UK.
Look at that, plug
over.
Absolutely.
Don't ask me where the dates are, I only just got them yesterday. But I've started a band as well. I'm in a band now, a little pop project I put together with a guy named Spencer Sotelo from the band Periphery, who a lot of you guys might know. Amazing singer. And my buddy Jukka Backlund from Finland, who lives in Las Vegas. He was formerly of this Titanic band called Sunrise Avenue in the sort of Germany area. And he's this epic producer, just worked with 1 million people. And so we're a trio, and we started a pop rock thing, and it's sounding pretty fun, man. It's sounding so fun. This is the world exclusive. I haven't told anyone about this before. So Andertons exclusive. New bands, myself, Spencer, and Jukka, and the album will be finished this year, 2018, and maybe it'll be out. Maybe we'll put a single out towards the end of the year.
What stylistically?
Okay, so imagine like there was an orgy between, don't literally imagine this, but, or maybe we shouldn't say that, I don't know.
Orgy is a good word.
Imagine there was a conglomeration of, say, Genesis, In Excess, the 1975, the Midnight, you know, plus Robert Tepper and to the Top Gun soundtrack and Vince DiCola and the Rocky IV soundtrack mixed with Spencer's epic clean vocals and a lot of just a lot of synthesizers. There's a lot of synthesizers, and
I'm struggling to audioily visualize what that.
Okay, I'll try and break it down. So, yeah, it's crazy. So basically, synth pop rock mixed with sort of funky In Excess electric guitar, heavily chorused, heavily compressed Strat stuff. But then there's like Steve Stevens guitar solos in there with gargly whammy bar stuff, and
so it's not,
I get to get my shred on, man, for the first time in any project ever. I get to get my shred on.
It's not Gent Clannad then, or
it's nothing to do with Gent at all. But
or Clannad.
Or Clannad. No one knows what this is, dude.
Clannad Gent. I was literally I thought that was what the album was going to be, and then I'd have been. You would have gone top of the Clannad Gent.
That would,
top of the folk gent music charts.
In that genre,
Irish
we would
folk,
be the number
Celtic
one band.
gent.
Yeah,
it's like huge.
I guess you've got to think it's nothing. It won't sound anything like Periphery. It won't sound anything like any of the other projects we have done. But it is a conglomeration of all of our own personal music tastes combined over red wine and lychee martinis in Las Vegas. That's where we record this thing. We go to Las Vegas every few months and basically just drink and write and record. And we only went there to do 3 tracks, and we ended up with 16. It was amazing. And Taylor Larson is doing the production on it at the moment, along with a lot of other producers doing bits and bobs. And it's just going to sound killer, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, well, good luck with that, man.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate that. Look, I think this feels like it's kind of come to its sort of natural conclusion. I don't know how long you guys have been watching for. It's probably about an hour, maybe even more.
I'm tuning. Yeah.
I just think, to be honest with you, it's fascinating hearing you play.
Thanks, man.
It's one thing watching you in a video. It's completely weird and different doing it when you're watching when you're actually in the room, because you just realise how
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and it's super delicate, and just your understanding of layering notes and sounds over the top of each other and using percussion is quite remarkable to see.
Thanks, Lee.
Now, we are going to fiddle with a funky little device.
That was as political as it gets on Captain Meets.
We can go way more political than that if we want to. We're going to play with this funky little thing. Now, you've been hearing for the whole of this demo, in fact, for everything other than this little excerpt here. Excerpt. You've been hearing Mike plugged from his acoustic guitar pickups into his pedals. Yes. Straight into the DI, and that's what you're hearing. However, what you're about to hear now, and you'll see by the magic of this microphone in front of Mike,
that's just appeared,
is this funky thing called a tone wood amp.
It's so good, man.
So you explain what it does. Yes.
Yeah, so this thing is freaking awesome, man. Honestly, genuinely, you have to have a hood up to use it, apparently.
Okay. That's fine. I think you were just doing it in homage to the hooded man thing. The clan? Clanad, yes.
Oh my good God. Well, basically, once the hood comes up,
after this,
I'm absolutely going to get it. If you need a guitar player,
and go,
we're
reforming.
I'm available.
They're probably still going.
This thing is called the Tone Wood Amp, and it was made by this husband and wife in Arizona, Helene and Ofer. Hi, if you're watching. And I did a show in Tucson, Arizona with Justin Hayward at this beautiful theatre. They came after the show and said, hey, we've got this guitar. This is stuck to the back on it. Stuck to the back with magnets. Play it. And I strummed one chord and was like, holy, this is insane. So what it does, it sticks to the back of your guitar. So there's a little magnetic bracing inside the guitar, which you install on.
Flip the guitar over so they can see.
Flip the guitar around, sure. Yeah. Just like this. So I have a little magnet brace. Yeah, so basically, it just sticks on like that. So, super secure. So I have these little braces installed on all my guitars. Super easy to install. You just reach in the sound hole, stick it on. The little adhesive magnets. And what it does is it takes the sound of your guitar, so you plug it into the pickup. Through the pickup. Yep. So I'm plugged into the piezo pickup right now, the Damasio Black Angel piezo. What it does is it's like an effects processor for acoustic guitar. the Black Angel.
You're never going to be able to say that.
No, never. Seriously. Angel. And basically, through vibrations, it vibrates the back surface of the guitar, so reverb comes through the sound hole. It's crazy.
It's too freaky. Now, sorry, I just need to ask our sound man, Danish Pete, we've killed the monitors in the room, right? So
we don't need it.
Because I suppose it's not even plugged in, is it? So I can't be hearing the monitors in the room.
All you're hearing is the sound coming out of the sound hole.
Yes. Spooky!
It's crazy. So
super weird.
What's
so none
happening?
Of no pedals, nothing. No pedals. Literally just the guitar into that microphone.
Reverb is being vibrated through the guitar's back, so it's coming out of the sound hole.
But it sounds like it's coming from over there or something. That's well weird.
And dude, this thing has changed my life. Every time I pick up the acoustic guitar, I turn it on and it makes me want to write.
Yeah.
But it's not just reverb. There's 3 different types of reverb. But there's also delays, there's Leslie speaker, there's overdrive, there's all kinds of fun stuff, and you can adjust all the parameters as well. So right now I've just selected delay, I'm setting reverb to 14, I'm setting the speed to 15, feedback. You adjust all this stuff and now I've got delay coming out of the sound hole of the guitar. It's absolutely insane. It doesn't make any sense.
Just to show how dry it goes, can you just literally go like strum, turn off, strum?
Without? How? Yeah, you want. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the reaction. Once you play with it, you can't ever not play with it. Seriously. Now it's back on. That's how an acoustic guitar should sound.
Come and sit over here.
Josh
come and sit
coming,
over here.
Coming to the camera.
And tell me that sound isn't coming from like somewhere over here.
Right. So this is the dry guitar, okay?
Which is obviously here. Yeah.
I'm just all I'm doing is turning the volume of my pickup up. So this is already on. I've just turned my pickup off with a little wheel. Now it's on.
You got chambers there. No, I mean check it out.
Danish Pete's now checking out the tone
in the room. It's not where.
It is weird.
It's
very
so
weird.
not. The sound is not coming from where the guitar is, which makes no sense at all.
Dry guitar, right?
Yeah.
Turning it on.
That's really weird.
That's awesome.
So this thing, man, has changed my life because it just makes guitar inspiring, man. Wherever you are, whatever you're playing. You know what, dude? Try it.
I should say.
I know we're in DADGAD right now, but
I can't play anything in DADGAD.
Strum a chord. You can tune it if you want.
Perhaps I'll do. I should say, in the interest of just full disclosure, Yamaha also do an acoustic guitar called the Acoustic, which has something similar inside it. There is some ambiguity at the moment as to quite who designed it first and quite perhaps who should get the credit for doing that. But whatever, I don't know. All I know is that if you want to buy the Tonewood one, that you can fit to any guitar, and if you don't want to do that and you want one with it built in, you might want to have a look at Yamaha.
So basically, what I have with this, I'll add to that debate and say that the reason I love the Tonewood, or one of the reasons I love the Tonewood, is I have one Tonewood amp, but I have like 5 different X braces, and I install the X braces in all my guitars, and if I want to use it, I stick it onto any guitar. I don't have to buy 5 new guitars, right? Does that make sense? You only need one unit to play with any guitar. So that's why I dig it. It's crazy, man. Like, as I said, like I just released this new album, and the whole album was written. There's a tune on the back of it. The whole album was written with that on the guitar. So as a result, this album's really reverberant and atmospheric. It's crazy. It's sickening to listen to the guitar without the Tonewood amp on right now, actually.
In fairness, that's kind of how Yamaha sell theirs. It's like they go, right, play the guitar without, and you go, okay.
But
and then switch it on, and you're just like, no, never switch it off. It's all too good. I mean, you're not going to hear. I'm not at the mic. So.
It's crazy, isn't it? And that's the first thing. That's whole reverb. But we have room. There's plate, EQ, high, decay, all that stuff. And they're working on a new chorus, which will be downloadable to it.
I should let me jump seats.
Yeah, dude.
And then literally I can sit in front of the microphone.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. You're not plugged in. Look at that. The beauty of wireless.
The beauty of lapels. Yeah.
It's mad.
I know, you can't put it down. It's crazy. Check out the plate. Hold on. I'm going to tinker with the settings a little bit.
I can't get over how quiet this guitar is.
Well, dude, I had it designed as the electric guitar player's acoustic guitar. Yeah. That's a plate. So check out the plate. It's longer. Give it a shotgun like that. Check. So that's a nice. And if you want to go Sigur Rós, you can just crank the decay up and just let it feedback, and it's so fun.
Can I have delay?
Yeah, man. What kind of tempo? Like tap. Like that kind of thing?
It's so weird that there's not, I'm so just going, yeah, it's just coming out of that speaker down there, and it's like, it's not coming out of that speaker.
All these guys are just sort of going.
It sounds too like it's a pedal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Am I in shot standing up, by the way?
Your face is in the front.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's not just the fact that it does the effects, it's that the effects is like studio grade effects. It's inspiring. That's the thing. You can also plug an iPad into it and play with like synthesizers and stuff like that. You can make it do all that stuff. I don't do that because I don't have an iPad, but
And now I'm going to turn it off. And is it which one's
so
volume?
the right
left
wheel,
hand, the
yeah.
right one.
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's really weird because when you play without it, the
When you
sound
turn
is
it up,
very.
just turn it to about halfway on the wheel because that's the gain. You have to calibrate it to the gain of your pickup, right? So you don't want to give it too much gain because that's how I have it set up.
Oh, well, there you go. Look, I will put some details in the description below of the Tonewood amp.
It's my best friend.
And we shall jump round.
Yeah,
It's
man.
very, very. I don't know. It's spooky.
It's fun, isn't it?
Spooky.
Like it's just it's an inspiration box is what how I describe it
Oh,
to
well, there we
myself.
are.
Anyway, it's like
Well, there
yeah,
you go.
boy.
There you go. I hope you have enjoyed
There you have it.
whiling away this last hour or so with myself and Mike.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, I totally agree. And
I
it's
like
nice
this
to,
man.
I like this man too. And it's nice to do some acoustic stuff. It's nice to have sat for an hour and not had my eardrums destroyed. But it's been beautiful.
That's nice. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about my play.
Well, good luck with everything, man. As
Thanks,
I say,
buddy.
links in the description below to find out where more about Mike's music and touring and everything like that.
Lots of tours, lots of tabs, all the fun stuff.
Beautiful. Well, good luck with everything, man. And
buddy.
I hope your electric guitar thing come back on once the electric guitar album is out, and we'll shamelessly plug that
Definitely,
too.
man. That's going to be really fun. I'll play you some demos later.
Cool.
It sounds fun.
All right.
I'm going to go and do some shopping in the store because I've got a little shopping list for that project. So.
Awesome stuff. Right. Take it easy, guys. See you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Andertons Guitar YouTube channel. If you're a drummer or a keyboard player or interested in music technology, you might find one of our other channels interesting, and I'll put details of those in the description below. If you want to find out more about the products we've just featured, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like this, please click here. If you want to watch another video on our guitar channel, click down here. And to subscribe to our guitar channel, click here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. I've got to play you the Robin Hood.
Oh God, really?
Yeah. Look, I'm going to put it near my lapel mic. Tell me that this isn't like the best music in the universe. And what I need you to learn is how to loop the chords and then play the lead solo over the top with your Joe-Yo distortion pedal.
This guy is insane.
This is from 1978, which is showing
If
my
any
age.
of you
What
know
were
this-
like -10 then.
Oh, so yeah, I was born in '89, so pretty much, yeah.
-11. Robin the Hooded Man.
You guys have just learned something special about Lee Anderton and his
It's so
dark
good.
secret.